Hey friends, what's happening? Andy Irvine coming to you again from my Daily Funk Club headquarters, and today I'm going to make a little video to feature the Grannis custom bass for you, and I'm excited because I love this instrument so much. Grannis is a wonderful builder from the Phoenix, Arizona area, and he handcrafts all his basses. He doesn't use any CNC or any automated anything. Everything's done completely by hand, and he does an absolutely fantastic job. This bass is crafted from a lot of really nice, special kind of woods. It has a Jatoba body, and it has a Wenji purple heart neck, with an ebony fingerboard. And every single one of these woods is really influential in the way that this instrument feels and the way that this instrument performs. It speaks with complete authority, clarity, and focus. In every range across the whole instrument. It has a really incredible, throat and voice no matter where you play it on the bass. Just total ease of playing, super low action, fantastic fretwork. The fretwork is absolutely impeccable. If I was to see, how good is it, by comparison, this is like Warwick NT good, Thumb NT good in terms of the way that the neck just feels. It has that brightness and the really highly polished frets that are dressed perfectly and super smooth fret edges. And of course the brown woods and the Wenji, give it a little bit of that kind of Warwick, Warwick kind of a vibe, a little bit. But the neck shape is certainly different. It's not nearly as, it's more shallow. And of course it balances completely different than a Warwick bass. It just hangs perfectly. Pickups. Right now that was just the front pickup. Now I'll go to both. And just to the back. Super fast bass. I'm just easing my way back through the blend control. So I started at the back and now I'm just turning it in increments more towards the front again. And now I'm all the way back to the front. So, yeah, I love this thing. It has so much throat and so much sassiness and authority. And like I was saying at the beginning, the woods are all influential in that. The ebony fingerboard is going to influence everything on the bright side, you know, because that's a really hard wood. And then Wengie necks just have that growl. The growl comes from the Wengie neck, Wengie purple heart neck, and it's, you know, it's just a super well done neck that's, you know, laminated and ultra nice. And then this Jatoba body is kind of on the heavier, more dense side of the wood spectrum. So it's going to have a really, really tight, defined, low fundamental. And also a bright side thing like maple does. Really nice hip shot bridge on there. It's not starving for mid-range by any stretch. In fact, it's very equal. You know, it's equal representation of all the frequencies. Put it back in the middle and do a little bit of slapping, a little bit more. I'm just slightly past the middle indent of the blend control. You know, I never like it when it's on any of my instruments that have a blend control. I never use it right in the middle. I always use it slightly past the clicker. You know, this is towards the front a little bit. Slapper, maple fingerboards and ebony fingerboards are going to be your friend because they have that clarity, that high-end snappy clarity that a lot of slap bass players tend to like. Really alive with harmonics. And they're there all the time, even when I'm just playing like a regular line. I love any instrument that I can just set it basically in one place and do all the things that I want and need to do. around with the controls all the time. This has a 3-band Bartolini preamp on it that, you know, I don't even really use the preamps that much on my active basses. Occasionally I'll kick it in and boost up the low end a little bit if I need it. But this instrument has so much natural low end within the wood that in passive mode it's just absolutely fantastic. So it has this great earthy kind of natural woody tone, you know, but also has a clarity and a little bit of modern sizzle in there too. So for me, it's an ideal scenario. It's just a wonderfully well-crafted instrument by Michael Grannis, and he's a great guy. And I encourage you to, you know, check him out. Check out what he's doing. And if you are the kind of player that appreciates a finely crafted instrument that is built by a guy who is very meticulous, detailed, and careful about every aspect that goes into the build, then you will really appreciate an instrument like this, because it's, you know, it's really flawless. And you know, I shit you not. This thing has a tone that works so well that I take it on my gigs that I typically would only use a 5-string on, meaning the low end is so rich. The way that it speaks on the bandstand and the way that it speaks in the front of house and the subs and everything like that with such clarity and definition and punch and low fundamental, it just really kicks ass. And, you know, even the guys in my band, like the Johnny O band, you know, they typically prefer me to bring a 5-string bass on the gig. It's a trio, and we play, you know, kind of rockin' funky blues and stuff like that, and with a little bit of a kind of a jam band flair. And we get going sometimes, and you know, they kind of like when I have the 5-string, you know, because it gives me a perfect fourth lower of balls. But I took this thing on a couple of Johnny O band gigs, and the guys were like, "Wow, that bass sounds good." You know, they didn't even say, you know, but it's not a 5-string. They were just like, "Yeah, that one sounds great," and everybody was smiling, and the gig was going well. So that's a good sign. So yeah, check out Michael Grannis. I really encourage you to check out what he's doing, and you know, have him build you an instrument if you're into this kind of stuff. You know, you're gonna absolutely love it. I promise you, you will. And you know, you'll have an instrument that man, it can do anything. The quality of the way that the neck is built and the way that the design is, it's kind of real easy on the left hand. You know what I mean? The low action, it has good tension, but it has low action. So it has a strong low fundamental, but it's easy on the left hand. You don't fatigue out. You can play. And hammered notes are just equally as loud as played notes. It's so responsive and the wood quality is so good that it's not a huge amount of effort with the left hand to make it speak, you know. Great singing, sustaining, bending and stuff like that. It's just all so right there, you know. It's all so right there and accessible with minimum, you know, effort and fatigue factor. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about this instrument, and encourage you to check out everything that Michael Grannis is doing down there in Phoenix, Arizona. All right, friends, rock on. Talk to you soon.